Welcome to Dynasty Playbook, where we've been entirely too organized and professional, and there's not been nearly enough chaos. So this week we're trying something new. We're throwing away the script, and this is either going to be amazing or it's going to be a fucking train wreck. And we invite y'all to hang in there and see how it turns out. I'm your host, Drew. You can find me on Twitter at DrewDotsonNFL. With me is my co-host, as always, Tyler. You can find him on Twitter at HBOMIDP. And back for another episode with us is our buddy Tim Torch at Tim NFL. Thanks for joining us again. Thanks for joining us, everybody. How y'all doing?
Good. If it's going to go off the rails, I'm pretty excited to be here.
Yeah, I mean, off the rails is kind of in our comfort zone, so, just throw caution to the wind and do this.
I'm pretty stoked. I got me some fried alligator for dinner, and I got way too much liquor in me, and I'm all antsy in my pantsy. So, we'll jump right into our player prospects for the week. We'll start off with Malachi Dupree, wide receiver out of LSU, my boy. He's a true junior, 6'3", 190, and he is going to be 21 at the start of his rookie year. Tim, I'm going to let you go first.
Boy, I was worried because when you first told me we were doing Malachi Dupree, I was worried this was probably going to be the last time I was invited onto the playbook. But you know what? I rewatched some of his film today, and I came away pretty much the same way that I initially thought. And I'm kind of worried that it's Tajay Sharp, but a little bit more athletic. Because the guy's, he has great ball skills, he is productive, but he is rail thin. I mean, you're talking 190. I mean, even if you're going to turn around and give me the comp, which everyone seems to run to, of A.J. Green for this guy for a thinner frame, at least A.J. Green was over 200 pounds. He was close to 215 when he came out. I mean, Dupree, we're talking 190. Tajay Sharp was at least an inch shorter and pretty much the exact same weight. So, I mean, a lot more productive because even in 2015, I mean, Dupree only had 43 catches, which, I mean, is good considering how often, I know you're going to say it, how often LSU actually throws the ball. But still, I'm concerned that he's definitely going to have a dip downward with the receivers they have on that team this year.
All right, Tyler, I'm going to let you go next because when I get into it, we're not going to be able to finish it. I'm going to blow it up.
It's all over when you get going?
Oh, yeah, it's going down.
I like Dupree. I mean, he's just super smooth. He just kind of glides out there, and that's one thing that I see the most with him. He just looks like a natural. He looks like a football player. Like Tim said, he really, somebody needs to get this dude a sandwich.
Sandwiches.
Like several sandwiches for Malachi Dupree. He's got a fucking sweet name. I know we've touched on that before, but Malachi Dupree, are you kidding me? That is a baller-ass name, so I don't even know if I need to go any further than that. I like the name. It's so much, I mean, like Mike Williams, Corey Davis. There's nothing fun going on there. Give me the guy named Malachi. End analysis.
Wow, Tyler breaking it down hard for us. All right, so I'm actually going to use numbers here real quick. It's going to be crazy. Yeah, Dupree may have only had 43 receptions. LSU threw the ball 146 times last year. He had an almost 30% market share of receptions. He had a 46% market share of touchdowns, 32% market share of receiving yards. He had almost 700 receiving yards out of a little under 2,200. To compare to that, if you added up Fournette's rushing and receiving yards, he had more than LSU passed by himself. You know, if Brandon Harris can do anything to improve, we're going to see a boost in stats from Malachi Dupree. He's got everything you want in terms of development, and I completely agree with you about the weight. That is the biggest red flag to me. It bothers the shit out of me. But he's 20 years old. You know, there's still a chance he puts on weight. There's still a chance he can bulk up and get it figured out. Even so, I mean, if he doesn't, I'm still taking the gamble. Right now, he's 1A, 1B to my Juju Smith, and I'm going to be watching them both real close. I could see Dupree being my number one by the time this offseason's done. And before I get into like what I liked on tape, I'm going to point out that Traven Durrell looked excellent on tape too when you watch that offense. It sucks that he did not come out this year because now he's coming out a year older. He's going to be old as shit. He's going to be like Josh Doxson old. But if he had come out this year, he could have easily been top 3, top 4 wide receiver in this class. And I don't even feel like that's a hot take.
How fast do you think he is? Because I was watching the film, and I agree completely with Tyler that he's smooth, but even when I was watching his routes, I didn't think he was like insanely fast. So for him, I mean, like a 4.5, 4.55, somewhere around there is kind of what I was thinking watching him.
I think that might be where he's at. I think he's going to have a really slow 10-yard split, but by the end of the 40, he could end up with a decent time because he's super long strider, and when he gets kicked over to the next gear, he just takes off. He's got everything you want in a rookie wide receiver. You have to run block well as a wide receiver in LSU, and I mean, I watched him take on Vernon Hargraves like it was cool. You know, he tracks the ball extremely well. My favorite part is, he catches super soft hands, catches with the hands all the time. He doesn't let it into his body, and if he does, he's using it to block eye defender, which the body control there is also very good, especially considering, the fact that he's only 190 pounds. I'm just really excited about this guy. Hands for me is a huge thing. It's really, you could probably take who has the best hands, and that's just my wide receiver rankings, to be completely honest. Because you can teach route running, you can teach all that other shit. If you don't catch right, you're not going to catch right ever. It just doesn't happen. Look at Stephen Hill. Look at Ted Ginn. Ted Ginn, despite his hands, was statistically useful last year. But you don't just get good hands. But he has good hands. His routes he needs to broaden his route tree, but the routes he does run, he runs them extremely well. His cuts are extremely smooth, like Tyler said. And, I mean, he's making fools of some excellent some excellent cornerbacks as he would have been 19 last year. That's pretty impressive, and I'm excited. And what was I actually going to rant about? No, it's pretty much just that. As an LSU fan, the offensive usage is extremely frustrating. Like, we have 2 top wide receivers, 2 killer running backs, and we go scoreless against Alabama. Like, I get it, it's Alabama, but still. The fact that our offense is so unbalanced like it is, they can scheme against it. And it's fucking infuriating. And if we can figure out something with Brandon Harris this year, there's no way this team isn't in the Final Four. But if we continue to do the same shit we did, we're going to lose to Arkansas again, because fuck it, why not? So,
LSU's tough to watch. They're tough to watch the last couple of years. QB play is just trash. So bad.
I don't want to talk about it anymore. Let's
we talk about defense now?
Let's talk about defense now.
Let's talk about Jalen Reeves-Maben. This guy's a warrior. Big hat tip to our buddy EC, Eric Coleman. I had watched Reeves-Maben. I've given a cursory glance to just about everybody at this point, and I came away pretty impressed, but EC's like, dig in a little deeper. So we dug in a little bit deeper, and this dude is a baller. Absolute baller. He's a little bit small. The official Tennessee website lists him at 230. I'm calling bullshit on that. I think he's about 220.
I've got him at 225. So
225. You're probably going to see him all over the place. But, I mean, he's 6 foot, 6'1". I've seen him listed 6'1", whatever, negligible. He is your prototypical Will. I don't think he could play in the middle. He could probably play weak side in a 3-4, but we're going to want to see him in a 4-3 in the wheel spot where he can roam. They move him all over the place. I mean, you've even seen him out there a la Miles Jack covering wideouts and doing it well. You know what I mean? I mean, he gets a little bit handsy in coverage, but whatever. You know, I mean, he's not 4-4 fast, but he can stick with these guys, and he will jam the shit out of them off the line of scrimmage. I don't have the numbers in front of me because I don't like numbers, but I would venture a guess that he had plenty of tackles for loss last year because he comes across the line of scrimmage like a bat out of hell, especially if he reads it right. Like, say the tackle collapses down, he's in there, and he's in there fast. So I love
tackles.
that. 14 tackles for loss.
Yep, 6 sacks.
6 sacks is super impressive for an off-ball backer. So I mean, there's just a lot to like about him. He moves really, really well side to side, covers a metric ton of ground. I mean, he can cover from sideline to sideline, which is amazing. The size is kind of a thing. I mean, he's not big enough to take on these power blocks when they get to him. When the linemen get to him, he does have a hard time punching his way out of that stuff. He has a little bit of a tough time finishing on backs. He's not the Gerard Davis. It's just gonna or Kendall Beckwith that just when he meets a back heads up, he's just gonna go right through him. He doesn't do that, but he does have good hip leverage. There's just a lot to like about this guy. I mean, a lot, especially in the type of football that is played in the NFL right now. He's going to fit in well because he's a multi-tool. He can do it all. So super excited about this dude. I think he's going to have a monster season this year on a much improved Tennessee team. Tennessee's a team to watch out for this year, and he's the leader in the back seven of the defense.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, and it was funny because Drew actually asked me on, and he's like, "You're kind of just an offensive guy, right?" So I'm gonna do my best to dip into IDP a little bit for you guys, but I did definitely do my homework. 2014, this guy had 101 tackles. 2015, as a junior, he had 105 with 14 tackles for a loss and 6 sacks. So really, really impressive. He's definitely developed. He is coming into. He went through this past off season with shoulder injuries, so he's coming off a little bit of an injury here. So it should be interesting to see how he bounces back exactly. But I couldn't agree more. I saw him taking on big boys like Derrick Henry, Samaje Perine. I mean, and he had no fear when he was taking on those guys. And the size is a concern, but he is just electric when he's out on the field. And if he really stuck to the weight room and tried to put on that weight in a respectable way, I mean, I couldn't see why he couldn't be like a Bobby Wagner type of guy, just sideline to sideline, eating up those tackles. And one of the things I probably say I enjoyed the most about watching him is just his fearlessness. He was like a spark plug. Every play, it was just so much intensity, and he was going at it 110% all the time. So I really enjoyed watching him.
Tyler, you bring up how he plays, in coverage. But to me, I mean, his biggest strength is when he's in zone. He keeps his eyes on the quarterback, which a lot of times the linebackers you don't see. But, I mean, I didn't see a tight end that got around him. And you did bring up the Tennessee defense. I watched them just go to town on that Oklahoma team that was so good last year. Tennessee is going to be no joke to mess with if they can do anything on offense. But in terms of Maben himself, the biggest thing I liked about him was his reaction time is instant. He does have hesitation at times, but when he doesn't hesitate, he's on the player like stink on shit. Like, I'm trying to find the right words, but it's almost like he moves unnaturally quickly. He's already there when he needs to be there. And I agree with Tyler that he doesn't get off the blocks well, but I did notice that even when he was getting caught up by blockers, he was doing enough to shift them where he's funneling the run to the other players, where he's still not letting these running backs get a ton of yardage on him. I mean, one of the most... I just threw my pen. Tim brings up the tackles for loss and sacks. That's even more impressive to me considering the quality of the O-line and the SEC that he deals with, and the quality of the players he's dealing with, and he still manages to rack up sacks like that. he's pretty comfortably my third linebacker for this class. And sure, I still have to dig in a lot deeper than I have. Tyler's gone way deeper than I have, but I feel like it's not even close right now.
Yeah, he's comfortable number 3 for me right now with the potential to move up. I mean, obviously we are still really, really early in the process, but he just pops out. You watch the tape, 21's all over the place, man. And something about linebackers I've noticed, especially defensive players, the dudes with dreads are just better. I don't know if there's any numerical correlation here, but the dudes with Jalen Smith with the dreads out there, I mean, they're just, what is it? What is it about the dreads?
I'll have to let my dreads flow next time.
I think I've got a theory on it. It's the only ones with dreads are the ones that are ballsy enough think no one else is going to catch them.
There you go. There you go.
Because if you're slow and you got dreads, you're getting yanked down by them. God, can you only imagine how much that shit hurts?
I don't even want to know. Remember that time Palomalu got dragged down by his hair a few years? I mean, the dude just KO'd him. I was like, oh!
What game was it? Somebody legit got a dread yanked out of his head.
I remember that. I don't know who it was, but you could even see like the little patch on his head.
Yeah, like, defensive players just holding the dread like, whatever.
Like, hey, bro, get a haircut, dude. This is on you.
That's great. So, now it comes time for the chaos to ensue, and I'm super excited. So, let's start the chaos off with what it needs to begin with. Christine Michael. Oh, I took this guy 412 in a startup in 2014. Like, the belief was there. I kept drafting him last year, granted not at that price, and now he's doing stuff, and I don't know how to feel about it. I feel like I'm getting set up for failure again. Like, I feel like as soon as I legit believe and I get my hopes up, Pete Carroll's going to come out and go, psych! Just yank it out from under me.
I feel so bad right now. I mean, just watching C-Mike do stuff. I'm so excited every time I see him touch the ball. I mean, he lined up at wide receiver last night and caught a 9-yard pass. He goes from a big piece of shit to the best flavor of chocolate ice cream that you've ever had in your life. And it's the stupidest thing in the world. He was let go by Seattle, traded by Seattle to Dallas. He was let go by Dallas and went to Washington. He was let go from the practice squad in Washington and went back to Seattle, where he was productive in the playoffs. I don't get it. I don't get it. And I think there just needs to be a movie made about this guy, because it's called The Awakening. I don't know. When I hit 25, I was happy I had a job. so maybe that's where he is right now. He has a family, he has kids. He's finally like, oh shit, I gotta pay the bills, but I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, I was never like in on Christine Michael when I saw him going like in the top 30 of startups, but I wasn't like out on Christine Michael. I was like, all right, this could happen. I mean, everybody's on him, right? He's the next big thing. He's gonna succeed Marshawn Lynch, and that's just what it's gonna be. And then he sucked, and he sucked really, really, really bad. So I think I have him on a couple rosters. If I get a start out of him this year, I'm going to call it a W. I went and actually kind of low-key tried to trade him yesterday, and nobody's having any of that shit. So, I mean, just you're not gonna get anything for him, I'm afraid, on the market. And Rawls will be back. All right, Pro Sites will get healthy.
He went 12 in a rookie draft of mine. So the 12th pick of a rookie draft.
I mean, that's where he was going. It's him and Lattimore, remember, at the back of the first in that class.
No, I mean
why you're not allowed to bring up Lattimore on here.
I
mean today. I'm talking about
today.
Today, I am doing a rookie draft. C-Mike was sitting out there. It was a free agent. Rookie draft, and C-Mike went with the 12th pick.
I agree with that.
So he's leaving like at
over
that point.
Peru?
Right, you're leaving Carew on the board. You're leaving Devontae
Fuller?
Booker on the board. You're leaving Dixon
I'd
on
leave
the
Booker
board.
on
You're
the
leaving
board.
Fuller. Of course you would.
Oh,
But-
You know what? Yeah, I don't even want to hear it. I've come around on Booker. I have him as a legit starting
coming
running
around.
back in my rankings.
Would you leave Fuller on the board for C, Mike?
No,
Thank you.
but I'd leave Dixon on the board.
Gosh.
I'm
Well, I
leaving the.
wouldn't. The devil you don't know is oftentimes greater than the devil you do, and we know Christine Michael.
Well, apparently we don't, because if we knew him so well, we wouldn't have been surprised and came and just did all
Terrell
sorts of
Pryor
stuff.
caught a 60-yard touchdown last night. You want to
One.
take him at 112?
One.
You
One.
want to take him at 112?
Kristen Michael did multiple things in multiple weeks.
On multiple touches.
I think they have
Terrell
about the
Pryor
same
did
yardage
one
as
thing
Prince.
one time. Like, EC's got me all fucked up in the head. Like, yeah, these are all like day 3 running backs. Why am I so excited about them? And like, legitimately, I think the running back apocalypse is coming. 2017 is coming. So if I'm viewing, I'm almost looking at these later guys like a redraft perspective. Is Dixon going to produce this year, or is C-Mike going to produce this year? Probably got a better chance of C-Mike because Tressman is just batshit insane and still thinks Buck Allen should be a thing.
Terrence West.
Yeah, I'm ranking Terrence West. He's going to be in my top 75.
Get the fuck out of here.
Nope.
Get
Will
out
not.
of here.
No. Why? Why? Because he's competing with old-ass Justin Forsett and shit-ass Buck Allen, and Tressman hates rookies. It's a perfect storm of Terrence
Does
West.
Tressman really hate rookies? Is that
I don't know. I think so.
It is now. You said so, so let's go
Okay,
with
cool. I just created a fact.
it.
But seriously, like, I liked Terrence West when he was in Cleveland. I just didn't like him as much as Isaiah Crowell. And he's actually very similar to Robert Turbin in that I liked Turbin in Seattle, but I liked Kristen Michael more. I think Turbin's the number one guy to get the job because Gore's going to... They're not going to let Gore run the ball. 2.9 yards a carry isn't going to take you to the playoffs.
Isn't Turbin suspended?
Yeah, he
For
might
like
be.
a chunk of games?
I don't pay attention enough. He might be. You guys talk for a second. I'm going to go Google it.
Let's talk. Who wants to talk about TJ Yeldon?
Yeah, let's do that.
We did this on Voxer today. Tim, I wish you were there. It got nasty.
Holy
Our
shit, we
Voxer
threw
chats.
down.
Well, it's like you walk into Voxer, you take off your gloves, you turn your hat around, let's do this. Drew is firmly on, but what started is Drew showing us his ranks, and he's got Yeldon at what, RB7?
Yes.
And I don't know that I really, and my initial thing, and I have him ranked about there too. I think like RB8 or 9, and I think I'm underreacting on TJ Yeldon as far as what he did as a rookie. How big is the impact of the Chris Ivory signing, not only for this year but into the future? Is he safe? Was he really even all that good last year? So I feel like 8 is an aggressive ranking, 7 is an aggressive ranking, but I don't think he should be RB20 either. I think RB20, if you're ranking him that low, I think that's a little bit short-sighted. Yeldon's weird for me.
You're not only taking into account what he did last year, but you're taking into account that the Jags made a significant investment in draft capital in Yeldon. They've made a significant investment in Ivory. Drew, I see
A
that.
significant investment. They invested $3 million out of an almost $140 million cap. That's less than 1%.
But they
Or
don't have that
that's-
every year.
They had to spend money, or they were just going to lose the cap money. It was just going to go.
So
away.
they're only paying Chris Ivory this year, and they're not paying his contract at all in the future?
Their contracts are super cheap forever. And I'm not saying that $3 million is nothing, but to say it's significant, a significant chunk of change isn't correct either. I mean, I get they brought in a good running back, but Chris Ivory is also 28, going to be 29. He's a broke dick. I mean, I watched him for years. The only reason he ever had good stats in New Orleans is because literally in 2010 we had no other healthy running backs. Everyone died, and immediately the next year we drafted Mark Ingram.
Well, thank you for letting me finish my point in the first place, Drew.
You started throwing words at me, so...
This is awesome.
But what I was going to say is I love TJ Yeldon. I think 7 is the perfect ranking. And I just don't think the Jaguars are going to bring in someone else on top of who they have already. I think they like Chris Ivory enough as a backup to TJ Yeldon. They don't want TJ Yeldon to take all the pounding at the goal line. So they're going to try to get him comfortable as a third down back, a little bit more in pass protection, a little bit more in catching passes, so he can avoid those big hits. And then Chris Ivory gets fucked. I mean, he's gonna get beat to shit this year, and there's no way around that. But it's good for TJ Yeldon because he'll stick around long term.
Yeah, I think the whole thought that, projecting running backs past this year for Dynasty is bad is dumb. Like, I get it. The running back apocalypse is coming. But Yeldon was just taken with a second-round pick last year. He looked good as a rookie. If we're looking at odds, he's farther down the list than me for a lot of other running backs.
Well, absolutely, but you got to cook it in. You have to cook it in. Outside of Gurley, Lamar, handful of guys? Just a handful of guys.
Gurley, Lamar,
a very
Zeke,
small
Bell,
handful.
David Johnson. Everything after that is potential. Hyde's got potential. Mark Ingram, who I've got at 8, potential. Who do I have at 9? Probably Melvin Gordon. Potential, but not really because it's first-round pick. I got Devonta Freeman. Probably not, but the farther you get down the list, the more likely it is. So he's right in that same category of probably not, but it's also not no. And the reason he's in that tier for me is I'm not bumping Mark Ingram over him because Ingram's old-ish. He's been injured. I'm not moving Melvin Gordon over him because Yeldon showed more as a rookie, and the difference between the talent was fairly close for me as rookies. I almost had Yeldon over him straight up. And then Devonta Freeman, I'm going to get shit for this. I'm going to have shit for him for having him at 10, but I'm also coming around. At one point, I probably had him at RB 30. This is
RB nothing.
Yeah, this
RB
is a significant improvement. I'm willing to concede that he's a talented running back, but I don't think he's as talented as some people are saying he is. I think it's the people who look at numbers and don't watch the game are the people that have Freeman obscenely high. They have him at RB4 or whatever they have him at because so many of his runs were stopped on first contact. Granted, he's still going to get probably 70 receptions. He's going to be a valuable fantasy running back. But I don't think he's going to be the RB1.
I guess I don't understand how people can believe so much that Devonta Freeman went from an absolute scrub to a top 5 or 10 fantasy running back, and they can't believe that C-Mike finally had a light bulb click in his head and is now the GOAT in Seattle. I just don't get it. I mean, you can believe one, but you're not even willing to consider the other.
That's funny to me. I like that.
It's because points. Freeman put up a lot of points.
And it's because Freeman made stats in college. But if you go back and watch C-Mike in college, yeah, he didn't put up stats, but he looked just as good. But it was Texas A&M, so who cares what happened?
Yeah. I don't know, but going back to Yeldon, I do think I think we're all three over aggressive on our ranking of him. I really do.
You know what?
I think there is enough. I have enough trepidation about the short-term prospects, and especially running back. And Breeze was bringing this up ad nauseum, and Pat too, and they're both assholes, but whatever.
They're the worst.
They make points. That running backs, you have to view running backs in a short window. Unless they are tip-top tier. And what Breeze was bringing up, and I didn't agree with him because the player he brought up, but if you're in a competitive situation, would you trade Yeldon for Shady McCoy? No, I wouldn't, but I get it. And I said I would trade Yeldon in a competitive situation for Jamal Charles, easily. And most Dynasty people out there would. And there are a lot that are like, hell fucking no, I wouldn't do that. And that's the big divide in the Dynasty community anyway. But that probably sounds a little crazy that I would even consider it, and people would disagree with me that I would trade him for Jamal Charles in a competitive situation, but I would. Which leads me to believe, why is 7 too high. Why, if I have Yeldon at 7, why wouldn't I have Jamal Charles at 7? Other than the age, if we're really looking at a short window, 2 years, let's go win a title. Why is Yeldon so much more worthy of that ranking? Is his long-term projection that much better?
Because every year after 27, you're gambling with these running backs. And yeah, Shady's an excellent running back. Jamal Charles is an excellent fucking running back. But all it takes is 1 year. You look at so many of these historical examples, and I'm sure it was Adam Harstad that put it out last year. I remember reading it, but it was not like a steady decline. It's produce, crash. Look at Frank Gore. He did the same thing. It's these guys hit a wall, and every year past 27, the odds are getting slimmer. The odds are getting slimmer. With Yeldon, the only chance he hits the wall is if they stop playing him. He's not just going to stop producing like he's producing because it's Tuesday or they don't play whatever Tuesday. Shady could just easily turn to dog shit next year. Friggin' Jamal Charles could easily turn into dog shit next year. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not. I'm ranking them way too high in terms of dynasty rankings to think that they're just not going to produce. But to assume that they're a shoo-in for 2 or 3 years is extremely optimistic. It's the same argument I was having with the Adrian Peterson people 2 years ago. And yeah, he still produced last year. Great. But if you look at how he produced, it wasn't because, he was destroying defenses. It was because he's just out there fucking getting a bazillion carries. Like, yeah, cool. If I got 2 yards of carry in the NFL and I got 300 carries, I still get 600 yards. That's a borderline fantasy starter.
I am firmly on the fence with this one. I really am. I get it.
I'm just saying, the whole, we're underreacting. I've underreacted before. It's worked out for me. I don't like doing this middle of the road pussyfooting bullshit. I underreacted on Boyd. That worked out for me. I underreacted on Amir Abdullah after last year's preseason. That's worked out for me pretty well so far. We have good examples of that. The Mike Evans thing, 2 touchdowns. I'm going to underreact on that, and he's going to do just fine this year. I underreacted on Kelvin Benjamin going in the first round. That also worked out for me. He's had 1,000 yards one time, and he's about to be.
He only played one season.
He's about to be 26.
I get it. I get that. I do. I totally get that. But come on.
I may be twisting the numbers a little bit, but he's had 1,000-yard season, and he's 26. Take that in just the context it is in. That's, he doesn't have a whole lot more time to break out.
Well, yeah, don't get me being the guy defending Kelvin Benjamin. However, that was woat.
However,
that's the worst anecdote I've ever heard.
This is fun. I'm having fun.
I'll give you another one, and I'm worried on how anyone's going to react to this because I said it to someone the other day, and they thought I was crazy. But the idea of selling DeAndre Hopkins right now, because I'm worried about this guy. Number one, mostly for concussion issues. I did a little background, not a ton, but I didn't realize he's already had 3 concussions. He had one his sophomore year of college, he had one his rookie season, and then he had that random one that popped up last year when he was at practice. So concussions are starting to worry me a little bit. The offense is becoming more. Seems like it's definitely going to be more run-centric with Lamar Miller there. Is like right now the prime time to sell Hopkins?
I don't know that it's not the prime time. Like, I don't know that based on injuries I'm going to do it, but he's probably the second most valuable dynasty asset outside of OBJ right now. I mean, that's pretty consensus, right?
It's close enough to consensus that he's a top 5 asset.
Yeah, people like Antonio Brown, but he's old. So it's those 3 pretty clearly. I'd be selling him just because unless you're trading him for OBJ, he's not going to gain any value. So if you can get his value in assets that have strong potential to increase in value, it's a good way to make your dynasty stronger. You know, if you think he's going to be what carries you to a championship, I can see holding on to him too. But I'd be just as willing to sell and, you know, get 3 guys that are going to produce more than Hopkins will by himself.
Yeah,
And
I could go either way on him. I'm sorry, I didn't know you.
no, I just had
Carry
one
on.
short little thing is, I think the biggest, when I have red flags about concussions, it's not how many they've had, but how long they've been out after getting them. Because I don't think I remember Hopkins really missing any time for these concussions, so we're not seeing long-term side effects yet. That would be, as soon as we see him miss more than a week for a concussion, that's when I'd start really getting concerned.
Yeah. I said I go either way on this. We very well may have seen his career year last year. What do you have, like 190 something targets? Like a disgusting amount of targets. Now, super efficient with them, and the dude catches everything. But it's possible we've seen his best work already. I mean, they've already worked to bolster the receiving core. As a Broncos fan, I can assure you that Brock Osweiler is toilet water. He is horrible. I don't know if he's any better or worse than what they've had, but he's not good. So it all depends on my team. Last year, remember, Drew, I had him in that league that we did the startup last year when I went super crazy youth heavy. And I took Nuke like 108 overall last year, which was probably pretty high, you know, versus his 2015 ADP. But I traded him for essentially 5 first-round picks.
Oh,
you know,
wow.
I got 3 16 firsts, 2 of which were like 110 and 111, but I got like 104, I think. And I got Amir Abdullah and a 17 first. So I may not have cashed out great on the players that I got, but I got, you know, 5 big shots for one player on a team that needs the assets. So if you can get something huge like that, I mean, I'm selling just about anybody for that price. But in a rebuild situation, I'm definitely doing it.
192 targets.
That's insane. That's so many. That is nuts. So, like I said, I'm not going to roll the injury history into it, but I'm going to view him as, you know, Odell Beckham, Julio Jones, yeah, whomever. That's the kind of price I want. I want the massive return for him. Hey, Drew died. I killed him with my nuke takes.
You nuked him.
Yeah, I nuked him. He has been nuked. But yeah, it may be prime time to sell. It may be as good as it ever gets. You know, is he 102 overall in next year's startups? Maybe.
I think that goes back to kind of a bigger picture topic that is just kind of how I choose to run my dynasty teams. Is if I have a guy that I think reaches peak potential, then I'm going to sell him for as much as humanly possible while I can. And I try not to kill my team. So, for example, one league I was able to turn DeAndre Hopkins into Mike Evans and a 2017 first and second round pick.
Slam dunk.
Right, exactly. Because I still keep a really good wide receiver 1 on my team that can produce, and I give myself a little bit in the future. And it wasn't a massive move. I didn't feel like I was hurting my team in doing it. But the guy's value just got so high that I just didn't feel there was anywhere to go. And I mean, I think it goes back to Josh Gordon. Because there was one time I didn't cash out on Josh Gordon. It'd gotten like all the way to the 101, and it was right before the NFL draft that year. It was the 2014 NFL draft. I didn't trade him. I had a shot to, and I was screwed.
Yeah, the Josh Gordon thing. What a pendulum that thing has run. So Josh Gordon was the first overall startup pick.
Yep.
And then he's worth trash, right? And then we get a little bit of positive buzz, and he's worth a couple firsts. And then he's worth trash. And then we get a little bit more buzz, and he's worth, like, kind of a first. You know, so you notice the value drifts back and back and back. I cashed out, man. I had 2 shares left this spring. I was out. I got out as soon as they're like, he's getting reinstated. One package, and I got raked over the coals for this. I traded Josh Gordon and Alshon straight up for Julio. Just like that. And, I mean, I got bashed for it, and I'm like, that's fine. I'm cool with that. I'm okay with that. because I'm viewing Josh Gordon as a neutral value to me. I just want it gone. I'm going to cash out anything I can on him. Another one I traded, I don't know what it was. I traded Gronk and Josh Gordon for AJ Green and Mike Floyd. Stuff like that. I just moved Josh Gordon at not full value, but I had value, so I moved him. I was out. And Drew's back, and Drew doesn't want anything to do with Josh Gordon either. We moved into Josh Gordon.
Ew. That's gross. Yeah,
Exactly.
My computer legit, completely froze. I don't even remember the last time that happened. But everything stopped moving. I had to, super restart it. But, yeah, so, fuck Josh Gordon.
Yeah.
Super risky. He's going to get suspended again.
Of course he is. I would put the odds of running afoul of the laws, of the rules, somewhere in the 1,000% range.
At least. And, I mean, another thing that, it's not being factored in is he hasn't played football in a really long time. Yeah, the last time he played football, he was a monster. I mean,
the time before the last time he played.
Yeah. 2013 was a magical, wonderful season, and I loved him. But he's an idiot. I'm not going to draft an idiot. I wouldn't draft myself. I do stupid shit all the time. If I was in the NFL, I would have got suspended for something by now. Definitely.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, I mean, we know Tyler would. I mean, Tyler breaks the drug policy every day.
I'm breaking the policy right now.
Right now.
At this moment, I barely know what's going on.
So, what's a thing we can talk about? What's going on in the preseason?
Dak Prescott's the GOAT.
Oh, God. If I hear one more person tell me how good Dak Prescott's going to be, I'm going to shit out of every hole in my entire body. Dak Prescott is almost as dumb as Josh Gordon. And he's not dumb in, does stupid shit, gets in trouble. It's just, he's like Tim Tebow without a mind for the game. He just, I can't throw, I'm going to run. And because he's got athleticism, he pulled that off. But he played at Mississippi State for, well, he obviously played for his whole time there, but he was not special. The reason he was even a Heisman contender was because, for once, Mississippi State was winning. And guess what? That shit didn't last long either. Dak Prescott sucks. Cowboys fans are going to be so disappointed, but he sucks.
Well, this is kind of breaking news that we can chew over for a second. Matt Jones has an AC sprain. Looks like he's done for, at very minimum, the preseason, and he'll be lucky to be back for Week 1. I mean, what do the Redskins have behind Mac Jones if he might even miss a game? Is this Keith Marshall time? Is this Chris Thompson time? Is it re-signed Pierre Thomas time?
Ooh, PT. Yeah, I can get down with that.
Oh, I love PT.
Everybody loves PT, man.
Oh, I think in reality it's Cousins time. I think we're going to see some work from Thompson. Marshall may make the roster, but we're going to see a lot of passing Week 1. And so it's going to be D-Jack's time and Jamison Crowder time and maybe Pierre Garçon time still. I don't know. That time's terrible. But it's not going to be Josh Doxson time because fuck all of us.
I mean, what's the deal with Doxson? I mean,
I don't know. It's
such a bummer.
Maybe Washington can trade for another Tennessee Titan, Bishop Sankey, to the Redskins.
I can get down with that.
Oh, my nipples are getting hard just thinking about it.
I can get down with that.
Sankey's even had a good preseason. He's setting himself up to get picked up by somebody. So, yeah, I'm about it. I still like Sankey.
Dude, Sankey was in Week 1 was pretty freaking good last year. What do you have, like 5-6 catches and a touchdown, if I recall correctly, which I probably don't.
He were good.
He were good. I like that.
Bishop Sankey, I love you.
Yeah,
So
so let's talk about who hasn't been good in the preseason, and that's Matt Ryan. Like,
Come on. What are you just like? You're just taking shots at me now.
no, because I like Matt Ryan
Low-key.
too. I've had Matt Ryan as high as QB5 in the past.
Yeah.
But last year was not good, and he's looking like he did last year. He's not looking like he's returning to form from before that. I think without Roddy White there to bail him out, he's missing something, and nobody on that roster is filling it because Julio has to go do Julio things. He can't do Julio and Roddy things.
Ugh.
While we're at it, I think Tyler Boyd looks like crap too this preseason.
Oh, you look like crap this preseason. Tyler Boyd is a golden god. He has had 3 receptions, and they're the 3 best receptions I've ever seen.
I have yet to see anything negative about Tyler Boyd
The only
during
thing
camp, during anything.
The only thing that would be better is if Tyler Boyd caught Drew's balls in his mouth.
Yes!
Well, I mean, who says it hasn't happened?
Oh, if anything, I've been gargling his balls for like the last 6 months.
Yeah.
Oh.
You never backed down on that at all. I backed down. I liked Boyd just fine. He was never my number 1 or my number 2, but I liked him, and then I'm just like, you know what? There's a lot of people moving away from this, so I'm just going to go with them. And it certainly looks like Tyler Boyd's going to be the real deal, at least from early on.
I'm so excited. And it works out so well for me because I have all these Tyler Eifert shares that aren't going to be doing anything for a while. So whenever they're not doing stuff, I get to have Tyler Boyd shares that do stuff. It's a perfect storm. Really, the Bengals are like my plant my flag team this year because the one guy I planted harder on than anything is Tyler Boyd. And then the one guy I made my crazy claim on the defensive side is Nick Vigil.
God damn it.
I had to bring him up.
Just stop, dude.
I wasn't even bringing him up like to say he's going to do stuff, but...
No, you are clearly and intentionally taking shots at me right now.
No, I'm just saying, like... I meant to say it last week when we were on the show, but, like... I have a lot of riding on Cincinnati this year.
You do.
Oh.
You do. God damn it. God damn it. I swear he's not good. I swear. I mean, I'm probably wrong. Possibly wrong. I think it burns me even more because I was all over Dawson. I mean, all over Dawson. There's still an article at UTH that I wrote about Paul Dawson. I went back and read it, and I need to contact Chad. Be like, Chad, get that off there before anybody else reads it. Like, make it go away. It's so bad. And now Vigil is probably better than Paul Dawson, and I was absolutely 100% positive that Nick Vigil sucks. Like, not like, he's okay. No, man. I thought he was bad. Like, bad. I was like, playmaker, can't run. Ugh. Yeah, but Cincinnati, I mean, once the season, Paul Dawson tore it up in the preseason last year. Once the season starts, the odds of Vigil getting any type of significant snaps are nil.
How so? I mean, Burfict's going to be on suspension.
It doesn't matter. They love Ray Maualuga. Carlos Dansby's there. He's 140 years old, but it doesn't matter. They still got shit ass. I forget his name. They still got him banging around. Vinny Ray, right?
Yeah.
They'll find a way to keep him off the field. And you forget, once Burfict gets back, if Burfict gets back and stays healthy, he's going to have 140 tackles a week because that's just what he does. So Nick Vigil's not happening.
Nick Vigil will score at least LB3 points one of the weeks that Vontaze Burfict is gone.
Oh, wow. Nice hot take. He's going to be a top fucking 36
Oh, that is kind of low.
Only week he starts.
But he's still going to be a rookie that apparently they don't play. All right, let's go with LB2.
All right, that's
Purple on that limb.
You got to warm it up a little bit more than that, man.
I'm thinking, is he even going to play? How many tackles does he need to...
Like 5.
Oh. Okay, yeah, I'm willing to go LB2, at least mid LB2.
I still feel attacked.
Good. You deserve to. You attacked the shit out of me for like 2 weeks.
I got pretty bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you were a grumpy asshole, so.
If we want to go with Drew, we should talk about Bosa still not being signed by the Chargers and me drafting him in a league with Katie Flower and Daniel Simpkins and looking like a dumbass.
You're going to be just fine, man. You're gonna be fine. Joey Bosa can play fucking football.
Yeah,
Period.
I'm looking forward to having to redraft him in the 2017 class.
No. If they make you redraft him, they're wrong. You've already drafted him. You've already put in your claim.
But it's not a Devy league.
Regardless. You've already...
That is a weird situation.
That's what I heard.
Because
Yeah.
your draft pick, you just spent the draft pick early. Because they can't refund you a draft pick.
But they're not going to refund the Chargers a draft pick either.
Well, it's an entirely different situation. We can't compare what the NFL does.
We need to address this in bylaws of all leagues. This is an odd situation. Do you retain rights to said player?
Yes, you've drafted him once. If you drafted Deron Carter, and he's still floating around, as long as you never dropped him, you still have the rights to him.
But if he doesn't sign by a certain week this year, he technically becomes a Devy player because he won't be eligible to
He'll
play.
be a free agent because Devy players are only available in.
He won't be a free
college.
agent. He will re-enter the draft, will he not?
He won't be a college player either.
He'll re-enter the 2017 draft.
This is weird. My head hurts.
Sorry, didn't mean to get too deep.
No. I mean,
It's really a good topic to hit on because I don't think anybody has. I think you retain the rights to him. I don't think there's any way he can go back in the pool.
That's weird.
I think you've already. If he ends up being worth more than what you spent on your draft pick, which will not happen, you can already say the difference was made in the fact that you didn't get to play him for a whole year. You know.
Yeah, if somebody tried to take him away from me, I would jump up and down.
Yeah, I would
throw a major league hissy fit.
Yeah, I want a compensatory pick.
Yeah, I would throw a hissy fit.
Shit would go down. Like, if I spent 112 on him, I'm like, I'm getting a compensatory pick at the end of the first round this year. Or I'm keeping Bosa. That's what's happening.
I'd rather have the compensatory pick.
I would too, but they're not going to give you the pick. They're going to give you your player that you're supposed to have, the one you already drafted.
Anyway you slice it, Bosa's going to be just fine.
Yeah, more than likely they'll trade the rights to him before they let him re-enter the draft. They'll get
the Chargers
something out of
are
it.
just, man, what a poorly run organization, yeah?
It's really like they've had some of the most talented rosters in the last decade and a half, and they've made it to AFC championships, but we never thought they were going to win them. They've done so little with so much.
Just squandered it.
Gotta feel bad for Rivers.
They're the Jeff Fisher of an organization.
You know, I'm a Broncos fan, and I should hate Phillip Rivers. I do not hate Phillip Rivers. I love his fire. I mean, he's an asshole. I mean, this
you know
dude
why you
is.
like him, right?
What?
He's you.
Huh?
He's you with lots of kids.
And millions and millions
of
dollars.
dollars.
You get pissed off and you start hollering and fucking getting all amped up and shit. And
I mean, watching a guy have that amount of passion for something, I think that's fantastic. It's great. Watching Phil Rivers go insane on the sidelines, I love it, dude. There's so many guys out there just collecting checks and just kind of like, whatever. Not Rivers, man. That dude wants to win. He puts it all out there. I respect the hell out of that.
My favorite Philip Rivers gift is still the one where Andy Reid farts on him.
It's like, my face.
It's like, come on, man. Just fart on me? It's amazing.
How long have we been on here?
Oh, I miss Andy Reid getting all the TV time he used to get. Oh, I don't know. Probably close to an hour. I don't know.
We should pay attention to stuff.
Oh, I don't. It's too much work.
Yeah.
It was like 49 minutes ago because Coach sent out a tweet saying to watch. So.
Oh, God damn it, Coach! Don't let people do that.
We've had 2 viewers at least through part of this show.
Those poor people.
Yeah, there's going to be some. I'm gonna edit some of this out, but most of it's gonna stay.
Just let it hang out there, man.
Anything else we got to hit on from this awesome preseason that's been awesome?
Is it? Hey, is Cody Latimer alive?
He might be.
Why do I keep doing that? Why? Well, sunk cost is a bitch in Dynasty, is it not? Just an absolute pisser. Because I still am carrying Latimer around on rosters where I desperately need roster space.
Keenan Allen had 2 receptions for 41 yards so far.
Well, that's only like 149 less than he's going to have this season.
Yeah, but he got it from Kellen Clemens.
Kellen Clemens, he of the monster arm.
Josh Brown got himself 40 yards as well.
What about Dreamius? Is Dreamius doing anything?
No, it's still early in the game for them.
Is the Dreamius alive?
No, so far we've got 6 for 18 from Gordon and 3 for 5 from Danny Woodhead.
Woohoo, that vaunted Chargers running. I'm still on Melvin Gordon this year. I don't know why.
I still like Woodhead for this year. I mean, he's going to have another 80 receptions. I don't care that he's... That's one of those guys that's like, he's cheap enough, even though he's old, he's still going to produce. Like, he doesn't even have to get yards with the receptions. He just gets 80 receptions.
Well, and then he'll go from like 8 points to 30 with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. It's like, what the fuck just happened here?
Everything.
Remember last year you had that run like 6 weeks in a row where you could just book 25 for Danny Woodhead and they're all coming at the end?
Yup.
That was pretty fun. Super gritty, by the way. Super gritty. Real gym rat.
It was like one or two guys that you guys are buying, because I assume everyone's probably had a waiver wire run or something like that so far. Who's a guy or two that you guys have bought already this preseason? It was like dirt cheap, like almost nothing to start with, and now you're kind of looking at him and you see a glimmer of hope.
I'm super lazy, so technically I haven't bought anyone, but if I was buying anyone, I would have been going out and getting Zenner and Crowell. Zenner, I'm not even expecting giant things from Zenner, but Ridley's looked like hot garbage.
Ridley's done.
Yeah, and that kills me to say. I love Stephen Ridley. I mean, I've been on his freaking fan bus for years, but it's over. Zenner's pretty much got that power back role lined up. He doesn't even have to do anything to be partially fantasy relevant, and he actually looked good week 1. Then week 2, not as much, but he only got, 4 carries week 2? He didn't have a huge chance. And then Isaiah Crowell, I mean, another guy I've been on forever, but he's getting carries. He's being productive with them. If there's any modicum of a passing game that they can distract from the running game, Crowell's going to be able to do stuff. It may be a real timeshare, or Duke Johnson might just be used on passing downs. I don't know yet. But Duke Johnson hasn't looked that good running the ball. As a pass catcher, still awesome. And then one guy that's a super sleeper for me that I'm a little less amped up on than I was last week is Jalen Richard, who's the number 3 running back in Oakland right now. Unfortunately, we just had news this week that Dwayne Washington is pretty much locked up that number 2 job. But it's not like that number 1 job's. Yeah, we did Dwayne Washington, the linebacker thing, a couple days ago, and now it's all screwed up in my head. Yeah, DeAndre Washington. It's not like that number 1 job is all that secure. Latavius Murray had a ton of carries last year and did nothing with them. He lacked any sort of efficiency. So if you're a running back and you're gaining any sort of hype in camp, I'm interested. And yes, it's a homer take because Jalen Richard is a Southern Miss alum. But he was getting hype, like legit hype, and then he didn't play in the preseason because he's got some knee whatever thing. So now I'm lukewarm on it. But I said it first. So no. I'm still picking him up. Except for when I'm getting sniped on him. Like, I don't know who else is watching Jalen Richard, but I got sniped on him in multiple leagues.
It's because we play in these deep roster leagues, and there are like 4 guys on waivers at any given time.
Frickin' Murder sniped me in the sub league.
Murder's tough, man.
Actually, both of the leagues I got sniped in aren't even that deep of rosters. compared to the ones like the deep ones we do. So I don't know. I don't think anybody else is out there hyping up undrafted free agent third string running back Jalen Richard.
You're just banking on the hopelessness that is Latavius Murray.
Mostly. And so I'm essentially just hoping there's more sorrow in Waz's future.
Yeah. You know who I drafted in like every freaking startup this year was Devontae Adams. Like, getting him at like wide receiver 900. Why the fuck not? Right? So I've acquired him in a few spots. I've acquired Golden Tate in a ton of spots on my competitors. I was getting Stevie Johnson on the cheap, but now he died, which kind of sucks. Terrell Watson, I've been snagging up. Jeremy Hill, I've been snagging up a little bit. I like these guys that are the values depressed and they could easily return, plus on what I paid. So the boring guys, basically.
How about you, Tim? Who are the guys you're going after?
I did buy a few shares of Charles Johnson. The more I've seen of him, the more I think he may have that lead role pretty much locked up over Treadwell this year. Because I'm not a Treadwell guy. I can't believe Eli Rogers in Pittsburgh. He's doing things with Ben right now that I'm kind of shocked about. But I mean, if Marcus Wheaton can't do the job and Sammy Coates is fumbling away or dropping everything, why not? I mean, the Steelers have shown that they know how to work with these late round wide receivers, and Bishop Sankey, I'm hoping, gets traded or dropped and claimed somewhere else. Virgil Green is probably the main guy. Like, I have spent significant amount of waiver wire dollars on Virgil Green just because after watching that Broncos game, Mark Sanchez still loves the tight end, and it reminded me, I can't remember who his tight end was when he was with the Jets. It was this short, fast little guy. I can't even...
Keller. Was it Keller?
Yeah.
There you go. Dustin Keller. Yep,
Yeah.
100% right. And then he tore his ACL with the Dolphins and was done. But yeah, he targeted Dustin Keller all the time. So Virgil Green's a lot more athletic than Keller ever was. So he could be in for a really nice year this year.
I like it. Tyler, you bring up guys, running backs whose value is suppressed. I want to talk to a guy that I'm really on the fence about right now. It's Eddie Lacy. I had him at running back 28 as of this morning, and then I argued with Voxer a bunch, and I looked at my rankings, and I bumped him up to RB 19, one spot above Jeremy Hill, and I'm so against the whole overreacting to a couple of preseason games or to small amounts of evidence, but he's looked really good in the preseason. He's looked like 2014 Eddie Lacy. But I keep having these flashbacks of just tons of fun, just trying his best and getting nothing. And it keeps me from ranking him higher and not even being comfortable with where I have him now. But he's, 26? If he hits, he's going to be RB1 or close to it. But if he busts, he's just busted.
I mean, Lacy was fucking good as a rookie, was fucking good as a sophomore, and he was garbage last year. As much as I think we're underreacting on Yeldon, I think that whomever is overreacting on Lacy. I mean, this is a guy, if he gets together, he's an RB1. It's pretty simple. I mean, it's cut and dry. If he's even good, not great, he's an RB1. So, how bad does he want it? I think that's what it comes down to, is how bad does he want it, because the talent's there. We've seen him be really, really, really good. He was, the number 2 overall redraft running back last year. And that wasn't that long ago. And the reasoning was solid. So,
and you put him in a
coming
perfect
around.
spot. That's a perfect spot right next to Jeremy Hill, too. I mean, those are two guys, if they hit, they're going to just explode.
Yeah, I traded, oddly enough, I traded Yeldon for Lacy in a 17th third about a month ago.
I remember hearing about that.
I don't like it, but,
I mean, why not? Oddly enough, Yeldon is probably, I think he's my 3rd most owned player. And that's why I'm so scared about having underreacted on him, because I just was just trucking right along like the value hadn't changed, taking him, about 50th overall, right in that range. Just kept on doing it. I didn't have to because nobody else wanted him anymore. So I think there's a happy medium somewhere on these running backs. There really is. I think I'm way too high and way too low on a lot of guys. And we're just trying to gaze into the crystal ball.
You're actually pretty reasonable on where you're at with Lacey. You've got him at like RB12.
Do I really?
Yeah. I've definitely been cheating off the FFCC ranks, looking at it like, am I just completely insane with this player? And a couple of times I have been. Like Derrick Henry, I think I'm at least 10 spots higher than anybody at FFCC than... I mean, I've got him at 11, which feels super high.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I think you've got him about 10 spots lower.
That's not crazy.
But, like, I'm looking at the guys under him, and it's like Tevin Coleman, who's in the timeshare, and friggin' Matt Jones, and Amir Abdullah, and fucking all these guys that are probably going to lose their jobs. Derrick Henry's not going to lose his job. Not this year.
He didn't even have a job.
Yeah, because DeMarco Murray's going to just friggin' go back to what he was doing in Dallas.
Would it surprise you? I mean, I fucking hate DeMarco Murray.
I
hate him. But would it surprise you if they just put the ball in his gut 9,000 times this year? Wouldn't surprise me.
No, it wouldn't surprise me if they ran his dick into the dirt just because they've got him under contract. Essentially the same thing, that they might be doing with Ivory is get the most out of they can out of the old guy and, ease the new guy into the system. And the funniest part about the whole DeMarco Murray thing is I liked him as a prospect. I liked him coming out. And it seems like every year that he's been in, I've liked him a little bit less and a little bit less until he got to Philly, and I'm just like, I don't like him anymore at all.
Oh, I traded DeMarco Murray for Nuke Hopkins and a pick that turned into Todd Gurley. When Murray, the 2014 season, when he was just smoking hot every week, 30 PPR points.
And when DeAndre Hopkins was still a fourth-round startup pick.
Oh. I had some bad trades in my time, but that's a good one. I love it.
So, we got anything else we want to hit on before we start wrapping it up? What do y'all think? How'd this first just shit show go?
I like it. I don't know if the audience will enjoy it anymore, the 7 listeners that are left, but I enjoyed it a hell of a lot more.
Yeah, I think it was nice. You're not stuck in, as nice as the questions are, it can put you in a box and can be kind of recency on what exactly is going on that week, and doesn't let you talk too much strategy.
Yeah, I think probably a good move going forward is have a little notepad and jot down a couple of things we want to hit on. Just, hey, let's bullshit about this player or this situation or whatever. I think that's probably going to be the better way to go forward instead of, oh, what should we talk about now?
I thought we did
not
pretty well.
Exactly. Yeah, we did, but I mean, how many times are we going to be able to do that?
Eventually, we're just going to be like, it will happen. It's guaranteed.
I mean, that happened when we were planning out the shows, so I don't know if we can plan against that.
It's amazing that we went from we are entirely too organized, and we were not organized for shit. Like, no, we're like, that's too much structure. And we basically had none. And so we toned it down even more.
We've always had a script, so I don't know.
An outline. Script sounds weird.
Yeah, because outline's better. We've always had a list of bullet points on, hey, we got to hit shit this week. But I think we started relying too much on incoming questions and not enough on creating our own content. So hopefully y'all like that stuff, because we don't know what to do anymore. Well,
let us know what you think.
Yeah.
Yep. Please do. Rip us to shreds. Do whatever you got to do. I have no feelings. So if you were, and I don't think Drew does either. If you're worried about hurting our feelings, good luck.
Yeah, I've had one guy give us feedback one time where I'm like, that kind of hurt. But I mean, it wasn't even like brutally honest. He was just an asshole. But I'm like, okay.
It was probably true though. It was probably true.
There was an air of truth to it. But there's gonna be a lot more changes in the future for the playbook in the next month or so. We're going to be looking at completely separating our offensive and defensive shows, especially with the the real season coming. We're going to be doing purely defensive show. We're going to hit a prospect, and we're going to break down probably 10 games. These are the guys you pick up off of waiver wires. These are the guys, hey, you wouldn't normally start them, start them. These are the guys you normally start, don't start them. And Tyler is going to be an intermittent guest. Mostly it's going to be me and Breeze at Breeze IDP. We're going to be knocking those out every week, probably Monday nights. And then we'll be doing our regular Dynasty Playbook, which is probably going to have a rotating host because Tyler is less available during the season. So he's going to drop in whenever he can drop in. But I don't want it to be like last season where no Tyler means no show. So.
Well, I mean, is there really a show without me sitting here chain smoking 900 cigarettes and cussing?
I'm interested to see how it plays out. Honestly, I've had the same thought. I'm like, is it the playbook without Tyler, or?
Yeah, it'll be. I assure you, it'll be just fine. The content will get infinitely better.
But I don't argue with anybody like I argue with Tyler.
I work so much, and I pay so much attention to my teams in season. I mean, that's why we do what we do, and my team's got to come first for me. And I stay up till midnight. I look at numbers in the season, especially on the IDP side. I know I say I hate numbers, but I am a slave to the numbers in season. I spend so much time making sure the waivers are clean, making sure my lineups are right. I obsess over it. I fucking love it. But I mean, I'll be up till midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, 5-6 nights a week in season. So yeah.
Sounds like a perfect time to do a podcast.
Legit, Breeze and I are talking about doing it during the second half of the Monday night game.
No.
Yeah, watching the game together and recording.
Well, that's actually kind of cool watching the game. I don't know. I get that's number one first and foremost. I'm going to watch football.
I agree.
Real football.
Dude, I'm pretty stoked. We're not that far away from it. Hell, week 3 preseason is pretty close.
We have, let's see, like 20-something days, roughly.
Something like that. And then we got the freaking week 1 slate for college ball is hot.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited. But there's also another something I haven't really talked with anybody about, but I'm getting the thought out there. I'm thinking about splitting off from the offense-only show and doing a Devy-only podcast.
Ooh.
Moving our prospect breakdowns to there in terms of the offensive side and doing, 2 prospects a week. Because with the amount of players that are going to declare for the draft, the amount of players that are going to get drafted in any given year, I'd rather overdo it than underdo it. And that's going to make it...
A Devy playbook?
Essentially, yeah. And it's going to really depend on how many people I can get to work. Like, Adam's going to be a friggin'... He doesn't know it yet, but he's going to be a key asset in all of this. I'm going to try and use Tim as often as I can use Tim. I'm going to use you like some kind of tool. Maybe Tim will do my Devy playbook with me, and Sticky can do the regular playbook. But I really feel bad not getting Sticky on the IDP playbook because he's got such a wealth of knowledge there too.
Just free for all this thing.
Oh, I'm trying to tailor them a little bit better because there's too much IDP in the offense shows that the people who listen to offense shows are like, I skip a bunch of stuff. I'm like, well, that kind of sucks. I'd rather just make ones specific people want to listen to.
That's fair. I like the IDP. The IDP weirdos. We're a totally different breed.
But if having it split up like that seems more interesting or a better idea to you, let us know. Get behind us in this stuff, and if we do start doing it, we could definitely use a plug or two. Like I don't want to be begging. I don't want to be begging for retweets or anything like that. It's not like that, but So many of you guys support the show. Tell people you like. Tell people that would enjoy the show to listen. I mean, yeah. I feel super weird saying that shit every time. So is that it? We got anything else?
I got nothing.
Nothing here.
Cool. Well, that's going to do it for us. This has been the Dynasty Playbook. Some kind of shit show. I've been your host, Drew. You can find me on Twitter at DrewDoddsonNFL. With me has been my excellent co-host, as always, Tyler. You can find him on Twitter at HBOMIDP. And with us has been our killer co-host for the week, Tim, at TimNFL. I don't know why I paused there. We'll see you again next week.
Peace.